Okay, so we've got our homework folder open with our basic file structure here. Now what we need to do is start getting the code in here that we need to have our page display the way that we want it to on a website. We're going to be using XHTML version 1.1, and in XHTML version 1.1, to get our code to validate correctly, we need to have a basic structure that's the same for every web page that we make. And I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that basic structure into Sublime. And we don't want to talk too much about this structure until the next video, but here's the basic idea. To have code that meets standards, W3C standards, which is the organization that oversees the standardization of internet programming, there are certain elements that a web page must contain, or the code will be deemed as invalid. It needs a doc type, and doc type is simply where we tell the browser that we're going to be working with HTML and what version of it we're using. So you can see here it says XHTML version 1.1, which is what we'll be using for the course. You have to have the XMLNS information, and then there's a basic structure to a web page. Every page starts with as an HTML document and ends as an HTML document, and it has a head section that contains information about the web page, and it has a body section, which is the portion of what you type that gets displayed in the web browser. We don't need to know too much about that right now, other than this needs to be on every web page that you make this semester. And what I want you to understand by looking at it is that it would be annoying to have to type it over and over again. So in Sublime, they let us make snippets. So if I go into the Tools menu in Sublime, down to the Developer tab, and I roll over to the right, I can create what's called a new snippet. And if I click new snippet, you can see that Sublime opened an untitled document, and it has this snippet structure. And what I need to do is copy and paste the text that I want to create a snippet for, and I need to go into the snippet tag here, and where it says see data and then there's a square bracket, I want to highlight everything between those two square brackets and delete them. I see that I did that wrong. This whole line here where it says hello needs to be deleted. And then I simply paste in the content that I want for a snippet, and I want to make sure that it's left aligned and indented the way that I need it to be indented. And we'll talk more about indentation expectations in another video, but for now we're just going over how to make a snippet. When I'm done with the sequence of videos that I'm making for assignment 1, I'm going to upload all of the files that I used as a zipped folder onto Google Drive so that you can download it. So you'll have everything that I type, so you won't need to type it on your own. So I'm going to make sure that this is accessible to you, but if you decide to use Sublime, you would need to make your own snippet. So in this part of the snippet, they have some stuff that is hidden, and this exclamation mark dash dash is how you hide things. And what you want to look for is the tab trigger, and you want to get rid of the less than exclamation mark dash dash at the front end of that, and you want to get rid of this greater than symbol and the two dashes at the end. And when you get rid of those, you'll see that it highlights the code, and where it says hello, what you want to type there is the word that you want to use to trigger your snippet to happen. So I'm going to type XHTML 1.1. This could be anything. You could put happy squirrel in there, and happy squirrel would be your tab trigger. So the tab trigger can be whatever you want the tab trigger to be. I'm going to use XHTML 1.1. And so once I get the code that I want to auto-generate in Sublime and I create my tab trigger, I just go ahead and save this untitled document. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I already have a snippet, so I'm just going to, I personally am going to save over top of the one that I have so that I don't have more than one snippet going on doing the same thing. And once I've saved it, I should be able to close it out, and instead of typing or having to copy and paste this markup from another location, what I can do now is type my trigger tab, my trigger tab, which I made XHTML 1.1. And the moment you type what you put in for your trigger, you just click the tab button and it will auto-generate this code. And you can turn anything into a snippet. So anytime you recognize that there is something that you're going to need to do repetitively, type the same thing over and over again, then you can create a snippet in order to expedite the process so that you're not always having to type things from scratch.